Greetings, everybody. So let's talk about this problem which I've found on our assignment on my math lab, where the ultimate goal is to say something about the mean, the median, and the mode for the data in this distribution. Okay. The difference between this question is the information about the data is given in the form of a graph, but I can still interpret its meaning. Like I could say, for example, see how right here at 3 the bar goes up to 13? Then that means, for example, that there were 13 employees who used 3 sick days. In this case, that's what it means. Now, the information given here in a graph is a little bit different than if the question was like this, where I'm just given the raw numbers, okay? In here, in this case, where I'm just given the data, 8, 10, 11, 11, 8, 9, 7, so on, and it says to calculate the mean, median, and the mode, then I might use formulas or instructions and that sort of thing. But that's not what's going on here. It's asking me something about how the mean, median, and mode are spread out on this graph. Okay, that's what this one is asking about. It's not asking me to calculate anything. So where I would begin to answer that question and say which of these numbers is the mean and median and mode, I would start by saying or determining something about the shape of the distribution. So unless this is completely random and a disorganized mess, it will have a shape that we can identify. And it will come down to one of these 4 options. It could be symmetric, meaning that there's a middle somehow, and what we see to the right looks exactly like what we see to the left. That's not the case here, okay? It's not symmetric. There's no middle with the left and right looking the same. That just doesn't happen in this case. But if it did, the mean, median, and mode would be wherever the middle is, okay? All right, same thing if it's uniform. If it's uniform, then every class has the same frequency, okay? The number 1 has a frequency of 20 in the data set. The number 5 has a frequency of 20 in this case. Every class has the same frequency. So in that case, the mean and median, there's no mode because every number occurs with the same frequency, okay? But the mean and median would be at the middle, wherever that is. In this case, it'd be 8. So it's not that one, okay? It's not uniform. It's one of these, skewed left or skewed right, okay? So I would say if it's skewed left, then it looks like the data is stacked more to the right. And I know that's strange, but there's more data over here on the right side than there is on the left. So we'll call that skewed left, okay? All right, notice it's like if I took this and pushed it over that way, it would be skewed left. If it's skewed right, then the data is stacked up more on the left side, okay? I've got more data over here than I do over there. Just imagine the symmetric one, but pushing the middle more to the left or right, okay? Now, so in that case, I would say, well, the data seems stacked over on the left-hand side, and so that's what we called skewed right. Okay, so there's your answer to the first question. What's the shape of it? Well, if it comes down to one of these, it's not symmetric, it's not uniform, it's not skewed left. Okay, the data seems stacked on the left, so we say skewed right. Okay, all right. Now, how is the mode determined? Now, in this case, we will always calculate the mode the same way. The mode is the number in the data set that has the greatest frequency. And in my case, I could just see that as, which one of these rectangles goes up the highest. 2 right here, okay, has a frequency of 15. And none of the others are that big, okay? So the mode is the data entry that has the highest frequency always. And in that case, that's represented by A, okay? All right. Now, for these other questions, let's say, okay, we know it's skewed right. We're looking at the distribution. I made my case for it being skewed right. And then I told you what the mode is. The mode's the data entry with the greatest frequency, and that's this one labeled A. What about the others? How do I find the mean, and how do I find the median? Okay, so the mean, well, that would work like this. Notice in these pictures over here, it's trying to tell me there's a pattern to finding the mean, the median, and the mode for all these. In the case of a skewed right distribution, it goes mode, then median, then mean. as you read it from left to right. Okay, so if this is the mode, this next one over, if these are my choices, is the median, and then the next one after that is the mean. So B is the median, C is the mean. Okay, I didn't calculate those. I'm just saying, you know, if you point to these and say those are my options, then this is how it would be. All right. Okay, so let's see. For the mean, that would be C, that last one. Okay, it's to the right of the median and the mode, right? Okay, that's how they're going to be spread out over there. All right, and then if I keep going, what about the median? The median is to the left of the mean and to the right of the mode. It's in between them, so that's what makes B the median. Okay, now it's not that I calculated that. I didn't do any math to come up with these. I just learned the shapes. I see this distribution is this kind of shape, and that's how the mode, median, and mean are spread out from there. Okay, so that's how we do a problem like this. There's no calculating. I didn't write down a formula. I didn't do any math. It is, I guess you could say, entirely visual, besides knowing that the mode is the number that occurs with greatest frequency.